Is City Arts here? No, okay. Stephanie Nelson. Stephanie, are you here?
I am here, yes, thanks.
Hi,
Hi.
Stephanie. Okay, Messiah, I know is here. Okay, so we're gonna, is there a motion to adopt the agenda with necessary? Thank you. And is there a second? Second. Thank you. Moved by Walter, seconded by Tina. Our minutes, is there a motion to adopt with any necessary corrections? Moved by Walter, is there a second? Second. Seconded by Tina. Okay, we're gonna start with our introductions. Introductions are just what they sound like. Introductions, we believe that we are better together. It's in arts and culture space, in every space, but particularly in the arts and culture space. The collaborations, the sharing of information, resources, and all of that is always helpful for us. So that's why we do a introduction. It's please make it a quick introduction. If you're with an organization that is going to be a presenter, we would prefer to know why you're here. Like, or maybe something about you. Please make it an elevator pitch, like 30 seconds or less, 1 minute if it's really important, but try to keep it short because we just want to know who's in the room so that if there is a possibility for collaboration and you are not a presenter, you'll know who's here and they'll know you're here. Fair enough? That's for everybody online as well. Hold on, let me just take this. Stop the sharing.
Okay, I'm Tina Lumley. I'm co-chair of Arts and Culture Committee. I've been on the community board since 2018. I'm community minded and I love arts and culture. And I pass to this lovely lady. Pass this on to the next person. Peppermint in my mouth. Fresh breath.
Yes. Good evening, everyone. My name is Savannah Bellamy. I'm the executive director for West Florida Arts Fund. And my reason for being here this evening was to talk about some strategies possibly for arts in the community.
Thank you.
And I'm Ann Strauss. I'm a board member and public art committee member of the Broadway Mall Association. And I'm here together, Kate will introduce herself, with a colleague to present on an upcoming exhibition along Broadway malls, which will traverse through your community.
Thank you.
I'm Kate Waddell. I'm also with the Broadway Mall Association, and I am a relatively new member to all of this, so I'm more observant.
Thank you.
Oh, me, Carlton Davis, I'm a member of, union board member of, Arts and Culture and co-chair with Walter T. Alexander as, Senior Action Committee.
Thank you, Walter.
Walter C. Alexander, member of this committee as well as co-chair of Senior Action Committee with Carlton. We remind all the folks that are here tonight from an organization to please make sure we have your email address. Tina and I disseminate addresses. The information we get out, we get in, we send out. We get out, we send in. So we want to just keep the lines of communication flowing. So please be sure to make sure we have your email addresses and phone number. We also nice, but moving right along. Young man. Introduce, yes.
Okay, my name is Thomas Walker and I'm with the Teens Against Guns organization.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
My name is Nicole York. I am the program manager at the Community Initiatives of New York. It's our TAG program. And I love arts.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm Kmar Miller, representative for the TAG Youth, Teach a Generation, Teens Against Guns. And just an observer.
Joshua Keel. This is my first year on the community board and I'm a member of this committee. And I'm a senior in high school.
Thank you, Madam.
Hi, my name is Madison Ayala. I'm the community associate for Manhattan Community Board number 9. So any administrative stuff you need from the board, I'm in charge of this.
And fabulous.
Juan.
I'm one from an arts high school teacher.
In Brando, I also lived in the area, doing this since 1993. And, yeah, I love the arts and music, especially jazz. So that's my dream. Thank you, John. Hey.
My name is John McGregor. I'm a longtime publishing professional, narrating for over 30 years. I've worked in publishing. And I'm here to solicit ideas and inputs and build support for a general interest bookstore in Harlem.
Thank you. Sir?
My name is Messiah Ramkisoon. I serve as the Associate Executive Director of Strategic Planning and Community Partnerships for Youth Justice Network. We support 16 to 24-year-old Portland youth returning from incarceration. I'm also a poet and hip hop artist, and I live here in the community.
North of Messiah, my name is Jack Powers. I'm the Director of Community Outreach for Youth Justice Network, founder of a photography nonprofit for young people called Lens on Life Project. Yeah, the privilege of working with West Harlem.
Thank you.
My name is Anthony DeJesus. I also work with Messiah and Jack for Youth Justice Network. I'm the Arts and Recreation Director.
Thank you, Kazembe.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kazemi Balagoon. I am a guest programmer with the Mazos Documentary Center, which is located on 127th Street and Lance Avenue. I'm here to talk about our upcoming film programming and opportunities for young people.
Thank you. Carol Brown.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Carol Brown, founding member of Harlem Opera Theater. We're in Community Board 9, and we will be giving a tribute to Duke Ellington at the Harlem School of the Arts in next month. Thank you.
Thank you. Ilana.
Hi, Lana Mercado. I've been on the board since 2017. I'm on this committee and the Housing Land Use Committee, and I have a background in visual arts. Thank you.
Ewan.
Hi, good evening. Ewan Chen, Executive Director of Harlem One Stop. We operate a culture portal, harlemonestop.org. We're a community-based art services and destination marketing organization for Upper Manhattan. We also advocate for the arts, and we're committed to preserving Harlem's cultural and historic assets while contributing to the area's economic development. I'm here tonight to, if the opportunity is there, to talk about a bill that we're advocating for and to get support from this committee and CB9. Also, I might mention the Culture Portal is free and open to the arts and creative community to list their events directly onto the website.
Thank you, Ewan. Stephanie Nelson.
Hi, everybody. My name is Stephanie Nelson. I'm the founding director of Stephanie Nelson Dance Group. We've been located in Morningside Heights since 2005. We are a New York City-based contemporary performance ensemble and also a public service-driven and education-focused organization invested in using dance for healing and empowerment. So nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Sharon De La Cruz.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sharon De La Cruz. She, they, artist, and board member.
Thank you. Tidiane. You're on mute. You have to unmute, Tidiane. If you're on a computer, you can just push the space bar and hold it down. We'll come back to you. Martin Collins.
Good evening, everyone. Martin Collins, Uptown Art Stroll Coordinator at the Northern Manhattan Arts Alliance.
Dakota Pippins.
Good evening, everybody. Dakota Pippins from Harlem Late Night Jazz.
Good to be here.
Barbara Grant.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm Barbara Adeola, and I represent Black American Dance Heritage. My focus is to bring partner dancing, particularly Lindy Hop, back into the public school systems and any place that will have us, young and old.
Thank you. Tidiane.
Yeah, good evening. Sorry about that. I'm Tijani Wan and a member of the USA Mali Charitable Association, UMACA. We focus on introducing New Yorkers, especially young New Yorkers, to the West African culture, especially music and dance. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Palmer.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Michael Palma, the Executive Director of the West Harlem Arts Alliance, an independent 501c3 nonprofit organization with a mission to support the arts and the artists in West Harlem.
Thank you. Fab Five Freddy.
Hello, hello. I'm a Harlem resident, a member of the arts community, and happy to be here listening in.
Thanks for coming, neighbor.
Absolutely. Happy to be.
Dylan Todd. Dylan? We'll come back to you. Vida.
Hi, my name is Veda. I'm a first year MSW student at Columbia, and I'm just here listening in.
Thank you. Fireflies. Note taker Ray. We'll come back to you. Netta Washington. Okay, Xavier Morales.
Good evening. I'm a TAG youth ambassador. That's it.
Shamina Keys. Did I say it
Hi,
right?
I'm Shimen.
Shimen, every time.
No worries. I'm an deputy editor at the Columbia Spectator, and I'm just here listening.
Thank you for being here. Jermeek Anderson. Ayana Beckford. Oh, there you go.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Jermeek Anderson. I go to Exploration Academy in the Bronx. And I'm a tag.
Oh, we can't understand what you're saying. Okay. Ayana Beckford. Imani Williams. Okay, I guess they don't want to say anything. I'm Daria Hardiman. I'm co-chair of Arts and Culture. I've been on the board for about 9 years. I am a performing artist by trade, also a street photographer with my first showing of my photography up at the Dwyer right now. And that is the end of is that everybody? I think it is.
Daria,
Yes.
this is Dakota. I'm not
Yes.
sure how to raise my hand, but I probably should have said that Harlem Late Night Jazz is a nonprofit 501c3 whose mission is to preserve music in Harlem.
Thank you. So we are moving on. Dakota, are you presenting tonight? You're presenting, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we need to also add Dakota Pippin. Harlem Late Night Jazz. So we have.
Wait, do you have a flyer for your show?
I do not.
Like that.
I do not, but I'll get you one. We're still working on it. I have a few pieces up already and we're still working on it.
Okay.
But I will. So announcements. An announcement that we make every time is who we are and what we do. The community board, you want to do it?
I think there might be more people on the second page.
We have a second page. Uh-huh. No, that's Tiago and Priya from Tag Youth. Yes, Ayana didn't speak when I called on her.
And
Imani, Christy. I don't know. I think they're all with you? Okay. Okay. If anyone, would any of you tag youth like to speak? No, that's me.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, so we are gonna move on, who we are and what we do.
The community board as a whole are here to represent the folks in the community and be your voice and ears and be your advocates. The Arts and Culture Committee in particular, we're here to help the artists as much as possible. We're here to circulate information, and we're here to do exactly what we're doing now. Collaborate, let everyone know what other people are doing and get the word out. And hopefully, if funding is available, provide that information as well, as expeditiously as possible. That's why, please, if you're not on our mailing list, please provide your name, your telephone number, in particular, your email address, and you'll be added to our distribution list.
Okay. And please, the reason that we do all this, as she was saying, and the reason that we do the introduction is collaborate. Cross-pollination is a wonderful thing, productive thing. Okay, committee reports, artist information.
As I said earlier, Tina and I, we disseminate, like I said, we acquire. As you'll add to the list, requires, if you're doing a project, if you like something that you would like to even know about, we have a growing list of artists, cultural organizations, et cetera, et cetera. So, Tina and I we send them out as we get them. So, to the tally, I sent out altogether 15. And 7 of those was just for things for February. 8 of those are for things that are ongoing. So you should have all gotten the people that aren't on the list. I can add them as you would put your name on our email. So let you know what's going on. Please let us know what you're doing, because that's how it's about networking, collaborating, and networking.
Are there any of the ongoing ones that you could let people know about?
I just took the tally, but next month I will.
Okay, because the same people are not here.
No
and
problem.
okay. Thank you. And if you look on the agenda, there's also the emails of Tina and Walter, who are our subcommittee for artist dissemination. So if you're having an event or anything like that you'd like to go out to the community, please send it to them. Also send it to our board office so that it can go out to the full community blast. And the information is under committee reports. The visual arts exhibition project.
Sharon, Taylor Cruz and I are on the arts. What we're trying to organization within the MCB9 community to provide, to donate space. The purpose of the space is to showcase CB9 artists. There are several flyers up here. Please get the word out. We have 2 spaces now. We have 2 libraries that we're going to be working with. I'm meeting with Barnard College next week, and we also have a restaurant that is willing to work with us to showcase. But we need as much funding as possible. That's how I'm hoping that you'll be our ambassadors and spread the word.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Did you hear me?
Can you all online hear?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
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 Okay. Some can and some cannot. Okay, good. All right. The strategic planning committee, was there a meeting? Juan? was not at strategic planning.
There was no, it was canceled this month.
It was canceled?
There was no meeting this month. Strategic planning.
I think that was,
Okay, if it didn't happen, we're gonna move on. Okay, West Harlem Arts Alliance. Michael, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Could you give, do you have anything new to report?
Well, a couple of, as they say in The Sopranos, a couple of three things. We are going to launch our website. We're supposed to launch today, but there's always technical difficulties, so please watch out for our website, our new website, whaanyc.org. It'll feature a couple of interesting pages on it. One is a calendar of events, probably very similar to that of Harlem One Stop. And it'll feature our events as well as local events here in West Harlem. And our A list, or what we call our artist list. This is going to be an artist directory where anybody looking for art services can scroll through the very different art discipline categories for anyone who may want to employ them. I would encourage all artists in West Harlem to get on the A list so that you are out there and hopefully get employed. We are conducting an artist workshop, grant writing workshop this March 20th, Wednesday, March 20th. I'll put the information in the chat here in a second. This is in anticipation of the CBG grant by West Harlem Development Corporation. We will have another workshop in April and then another in May. The one in April will be for small arts organizations, and the one in May will be directed specifically to artists so that they can learn how to better write about their works and how to write artistic statements when they make proposals for gallery exhibitions and so on and so forth. These workshops are going to be offered in conjunction with the Northern Manhattan Arts Alliance, and they are going to include a special feature of a mixer with each workshop, so that all the attendees, registered attendees to the workshops, will also have some food and wine afterwards, and they will be able to mingle on the topics with other attendees and with facilitators and the workshop teachers, and they will be able to sort of mix and mingle and on the sort of various themes discussed in the workshop. So again, the first of the three coming up will be March 20th, and it will be at the Rio 3 Gallery of Broadway Housing Communities. And the mix and mingle will be at Sion Cafe, the wonderful Sion Cafe on St. Nicholas Avenue.
Thank you, Michael. Michael, will you have a soft copy of the March 20th information available to disseminate? Or
Yes. Anoma is working on the registration link right now as we speak. Everything else is done. All my Canva collateral material is done. You know, fancy schmancy graphic design and everything. And as soon as I get the link, I will be pushing out flyers as well as IG posts, Facebook posts, and also an e-blast is coming Friday for it, as well as announcing other wonderful things that are happening, not only at WHAA, but in West Harlem.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll put some information about the first workshop at Mix and Mingle in the chat room or in the chat section. Okay.
Speaking of the chat, would everyone who's online please put your name, organization, and contact in the chat, please? And thank you. The next one is Harlem Art, the update for Harlem Arts Alliance. Harlem Arts Alliance will be having its next meeting, a town hall meeting at Riverbank State Park on Saturday, March 16th. Everyone is invited. It's from 4 to 6 p.m. The last one was actually the first one since the first open meeting since they've been back. There were almost 200 people there. The tag youth showed up and showed out. It was multi-generational. There were people literally from teens to 80 years old there, and all kind of organizations represented there. So a good place to mix and mingle as well. There were performances, there was all kinds of things going on. So if you don't know about Harlem Arts Alliance, it is a wealth of collaboration and resources. So please join if you can, March the 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. Now we're moving on to I did want to add this, and this is just a report. Just the borough president had his state of the borough address yesterday. And I was in attendance. Some people in this room were in attendance as well. I was so proud that there were 3 performances, 2 during the main and then 1 to follow up. The 2 main performances were artists that are grantees from WHDC who also serve West Harlem. And it was the Jazz Power Initiative and the Dance for a Variable Population. And they were both wonderful, beautiful performances. And I just wanted to brag a little bit on them. On to community updates. And we only have one tonight, and that is our fabulous Northern Manhattan Arts Alliance, Martin Collins.
Welcome. Pleasure to join you all tonight. We are in the process of the Uptown Art Stroll poster contest, the annual poster contest, and we will be giving away $2,750 in prize money next month. The submission deadline is April 1st for the poster contest, which is open to artists residing from West 125th Street North. The grand prize is $1,500, second place $750, and third prize is $500. You can submit on the website at nomanyc.org, and we invite you all to the opening reception for the 22nd Uptown Art Stroll, which will take place on Friday, May 31st at the United Palace. The stroll, of course, will continue throughout the entire month of June in West Harlem, Washington Heights, and Inwood. We invite you all next week to the 15th annual Women in the Heights exhibition opening, Thursday, March 14th, from 6 to 8 p.m. at Noma's Gallery on Broadway and 176th Street. 43 Uptown artists are in the show. And we thank Michael Palma and the West Harlem Arts Alliance. I will not repeat what he said, but we're very happy to collaborate with him on the Learn, Mix, and Mingle, which will be coming up on Wednesday, March 20th. And artists in both Community Board 9 and 12 are invited to submit for our show, which will open the same night the Art Stroll opens on Friday, May 31st. The show is entitled Uptown Treasures, and that exhibit will open here in Noma's Gallery on the ground floor, Broadway and 176th Street, Friday, May 31st. And you can see Noma's website for details. And finally, Noma has 4 studios that are priced with artists in mind. You can see the pricing and the studios here at Noma on our website, nomanyc.org. Please see the website for that and much more information. Thank you all.
Thank you, Martin. Were there any questions? Okay, moving on to our presentation. We have several that will be added as we have already discussed. Just a note that if you are presenting, you must have your camera on. If you are on this committee, you must have your camera on. Okay, and our first one is Blackberry Productions. Is Stephanie Berry here? I'm sorry? Did they send you to present for them?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, oh, they're presenting tonight.
Right. Yeah. Stephanie, are you here? Okay. Our next presentation will be West Harlem Art Fund, Savannah Bailey McLean.
Good evening, everyone. I wasn't planning to do a presentation. I was planning really to have a discussion about, the art ecosystem in New York City, because I don't believe a lot of people are very familiar with the ecosystem and how, West Harlem could actually tap into it and benefit from that ecosystem. So, a lot of people are not aware of the fact that really, when artists graduate from graduate school, if they go to graduate school, because not everyone does, some are self-taught artists, they usually start working with other artists or small arts organizations. And that's just to get their feet wet, try to exhibit, let people kind of introduce themselves, and that's how it kind of begins. What you're hoping is if you do enough of those small exhibitions, that maybe a small gallery might be interested, because that's the next step. It's really to get gallery representation. New York City, you know, has tens of thousands of artists who have never gotten any gallery representation, because oftentimes artists do not know how to approach a gallery. They have to prepare, you have to have a portfolio, you have to have a bio, an artist statement, you know, samples of your works prepared at all times. So therefore, you can catch the attention of a small gallery or a curator. And then hopefully you get enough of those exhibitions where a bigger gallery might pick you up, and that's where you really want to go, get an established gallery to pick you up, because they will introduce you to curators. They will introduce you to collectors and to museums. And that's really the projection that people need to move towards. But unfortunately, a lot of visual artists are not aware of it. New York City has a problem. There are very few artist studios in New York City. That is a huge problem. The city has allowed the real estate community to gobble up every available space. There used to be galleries along most of New York City waterways, because people need not just space, but fire or kilns or other types of equipment that makes a lot of noise. And unfortunately, you only have a few pockets left in New York City. So one of the things that New Yorkers need to do is start advocating to their electeds about trying to provide artist studios that are affordable. And then New York City also, when it comes to galleries, we have a few art districts, the #1 gallery districts in the United States. So that's Chelsea with over 200 galleries. Then you have the Lower East Side, over 100 galleries. You have Soho, that also Tribeca is stealing everyone from the Lower East Side. These are the galleries that are going towards Tribeca. Brooklyn has lost quite a few. Again, because of real estate. Williamsburg does not really have galleries anymore. Greenpoint has lost what few they had. You have a few others in warehouses along the L line, but it's just few and far in between. Queens has struggled for years. They don't have an arts district. It's just MoMA PS1 with a few galleries, but they have more artist studios in Long Island City, but they're holding on by a thread. Staten Island has been devastated. They really cannot seem to get on their feet. The Bronx has some possibilities. They still have a couple of warehouse districts near the Bronx, really, I'm saying the Cross Bronx Express, no, the other expressway, I'm forgetting now, I'm a Bronxville. But there's just only a few. So these are the things that we have to pay attention. Unfortunately, also, he's no longer in city council. Jimmy Van Bramer pushed, and I understood what he was trying to do. He pushed so that monies could be distributed to all 5 boroughs. But what he did was he siloed each of the boroughs and discouraged cross-county collaboration. So if you are a Bronx artist who may want to work with a Queens artist and try to get funding, most of the time you can't get the funding because each borough is saying we only want to focus on the artists in our borough and we only want to give to them if they live here, but that's not how art works. You need collaboration and inspiration. Maybe this board might want to be innovative to encourage both artists that live here, but also encourage collaboration with other artists that may want to present here. And then this way you bring about more diversity, more excitement, and you can bring about a healthy ecosystem right here. So these are the things I wanted to talk about. I gave to the two chairs the 2023 part of it, the survey, global survey about the arts, who's collecting, how they're going about it, just the index, because the whole report is 146 pages. And so therefore you can get it online, and therefore you can see who's collecting why. Most of the same artists are being collected globally. You're not going to get new artists unless you start cultivating artists to really expand their practice and kind of push it forward. If you're not doing it and you're just siloing people, they're not going to grow. Gallerists are not going to pick them up. Curators are not going to be interested. You've got to be a little bit more innovative and progressive in order to make a dent in the art world.
So what are your ideas for that?
I just shared. One is that you might want to, instead of like some of the other communities saying, we only want those who just live here. Don't be that narrow-minded. Encourage both those who live and those who wish to collaborate with artists who live in that community. Therefore, you get more pollination that's going on. Because if you limit yourself that way, you're not going to grow. I've never done that. My group has been around 26 years. People laughed at me. They don't laugh at me anymore. I'm open to all people. I have curated all kinds of people, never just Black and Latino. I've done Asian artists. In fact, I'm doing my second show for AHL Foundation. They asked me to curate for them because I've curated Asian artists before. The show was a hit last year. They asked me to come back to curate again. You've got to be willing to work with different groups of people, and it's all about the narrative. That's the new word, narratives. You just don't do it because you feel like it, because you just love it. What is your real story? What is your real motivation? Are you doing research? Why you want people to pay attention? That's what people are really interested in today.
Can you take some questions?
Yes.
One.
So, two issues. I understand that, we had, well, one of my really good friends, in the Melbourne Vines, he's an amazing, trumpet player. I love him. When you close your eyes, it's like Miles Davis playing in front of you. And he moved to Brooklyn, and it's very hard to get him gigs here in Harlem. And he developed his trade here in Harlem. He used to play right off Riverbank. You used to see him on Saturdays, pre-COVID, right? Pre-COVID changed everything. But the other problem we have is that artists that are in Harlem, if we don't hold that money for them, then it goes somewhere else, and then they lose it. Right?
I wanted to answer that. I forgot to mention something.
Savannah, could you move forward a little bit just so they can see you?
Oh, okay. You guys were offered an opportunity with Columbia University. I used to be on this board. I was the first chair for arts and culture with Michael Palmer. I've chaired 3 committees on the board. Columbia has its issues, but they offered you Floridita. Y'all should take that deal. Because I knew in advance that Floridita was going to go out of business. Columbia told me that. They told me in advance. They told me to lay off. There was a lawsuit. It was ugly. Yeah. Nonetheless, if you take the Floridita space, now you can use it. You have dinner theater, poetry reading, all different types of performances. You can sell tickets. You, the dining floor, have them cater for you. Therefore, you make money. When you make the money, you got money to offer your visual artists supplies, spaces. Use them because the kitchen is still good. The bar is still good. You can have wine tastings. You can have food tastings. You can do all kinds of things. They offered you a chance to make money. So therefore, you can take care of yourself and be independent. That's what I would suggest, because your friend was talking about venues. We don't got them up here. We don't have venues. We've lost most of our venues. St. Nick's Pub, gone. Okay? We don't have that no more. Half the restaurants are gone across New York City because of COVID. You have to now create it. Call it a pop-up. You call it a pop-up. You market it that way. Guess what? People are going to rush because they know it's temporary. You add the buzz. You add the excitement. You can cut the time, go somewhere else, and people will follow you. It's how you add the sizzle to what you're trying to do. That's what your friend needs, us to do that.
Lennox Lounge also closed, and Paris Blues just recently also closed. These are venues that took decades to create a name, and they were so vivid. Like, if you wanted to hear jazz, St. Nick's Pub was the spot, and then it burned down. But then we don't replace those spots, and when we don't replace those spots, then we lose them forever. Generations of people play music that if you don't have them anymore, it's kind of like it dies, that music dies, never mind. It dies.
I'm sorry.
Going back to what you were saying, how do we bring those back?
Pop-ups.
Dakota.
Yeah,
Dakota.
I'm sorry to interrupt. This is Dakota. I am, oh, good. What happened here?
Go ahead, we hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I clicked a button or something. I can't see you guys, but let me speak. Our organization, Harlem Late Night Jazz, was founded 8 years ago to deal with the issue that you're talking about. In fact, specifically, it was the closure of St. Nick's Pub. Over that time, we've booked like over 1,000 musician gigs, and we are attempting to address that issue that you're raising right now. I don't want to speak out of turn here because I have a presentation, but we've been in 18 Harlem venues over that period of time. We're about to have what we're calling a Harlem Jazz Club revival in April that I was going to announce to the club. Last year, we expect 15 Harlem venues, over 60 events over a 10-day period, and over 100 artists involved. Many of them are Harlem artists. We also have a calendar that runs
Dakota, don't
6
get
and
into
7.
Dakota, don't
Oh
get
yeah,
into
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, don't get into it
I-
yet. We want to hear your whole presentation when
that's a lot.
when
But
it's your turn. Yeah, but to your
let me just
point,
close it out.
yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Let me just close it out and say,
Of course.
yes, that's a serious problem that needs to be addressed. And we're working on that. And I'm glad you raised that issue.
Thank
you,
you,
Dakota.
that is a thing that we talk about all the time, and I encourage you all to connect as well.
Yeah.
Walter?
I think
Sorry for the big speech.
it's so
That's okay.
important to diversify. Not only is Harlem diversifying, the city is diversifying. Amsterdam, 149th Street up the street from me, there was an art gallery there. They stayed open for about a year. They had a few exhibitions in there, and then poof, they're gone, and now it's another 15-minute pharmacy, okay? I'm curious as to, because you've been around for a while, Reggie added that. Is it a political situation though? Is it because cultural affairs is supposed to be doing a lot of this stuff? Do you have problems? Is it this different administrations giving you a hard time? Because there seems to be money there.
But not for brick and mortar.
Short and sweet.
They don't give money for that.
There's a theater on 146 in Broadway. I'm sure you know about it. It's been vacant forever. We were taking it up as a project to try to reopen it as they did in Brooklyn, as they did in the Bronx, okay? So the person who did that is no longer with the project. A few of us are talking about trying to reactivate that because there's space there. And it's down the road. But I'm just saying it might be a political thing, but because you're absolutely right. We have to get back. Art is what makes us human. That's what separates us from the rest of the living things on the planet, because we express ourselves through art. So it's very important that we, let's stay in touch with you to see what you're doing. And so hopefully I can add you to this thing with this thing into this. It is so important. And thank you for sharing.
And I would love, Michael Palmer, of course. That's a conversation for the board and for West Harlem Arts Alliance in terms of the.
I'm just trying to
space
say,
in particular.
Chelsea has 200 galleries. It's the volume. Just because you got one initiative over there and one initiative there, that's not going to solve your problem. There are 200 independent galleries. Soho has over 100. Tribeca has about 100. Lower East Side has about 100. Upper East Side about 100.
So you're saying the pop-ups?
No, what I'm saying is that these neighborhoods have volumes. One or two ain't gonna do it for you, because
you gotta start somewhere.
No, but what I'm trying to say is you can't just put all of that burden on one group. One group cannot do that. You need a volume.
How do you
going
get
on.
the volume?
Talk to landlords, bring them in here, start negotiating, ask what spaces do you got available? Can we do it temporary, 6 months, 3 months? Bring a buzz. If you can't get it long-term, say you help them to bring a buzz, because they want the increase in their property value. You partner to say you're gonna help them increase that property value, then they start to become friendly with you. I did an installation for the Mink building. I was asked to do it for Armory because Studio Museum refused to do it. I had no money, went to 2 artists. I said, okay, first come, first serve. Diane Smith, Central Harlem artist. We've been friends for years. She did the installation. I named it Gumboot Juba. It was astounding. We got on New York 1 the next day. New York 1 said Stephanie was there. She said she was pregnant. She's dropping the baby. But she said, Savannah, there'll be a camera there for you. You also have to have quality. You just can't do something because you want it. If the quality isn't there, then nobody's going to check it out. Find who are your curators in this community. Get them to help so that they can do portfolio reviews. Start telling artists you need to improve the artwork you are presenting. Crack the whip a little bit and you'll see some improvement.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and so go ahead. I encourage, we probably gonna say the same thing. Please stay in touch with us. Please come. Don't stay away. You've been away too long. Please come.
This needs to be a committee of its own, a subcommittee of its own.
Just a meeting.
And I know
there needs to be something on a continual.
Well, but if you just heard a few minutes ago, we do have a visual artist exhibition project, which we had started before the pandemic, and our illustrious Honorable Tina Lumley has revived it, and she has got new ideas. She's been doing all of those things. She's been reaching out to Columbia, and she's been turning over every rock to try and find places where artists can display their art. And well, we do have Broadway Mall Association in the house, so we have resources. We're better together. We're better together. But we have a jam-packed. Thank you so much. We have a jam-packed. I think we are gonna move on. We can stay there all night though.
Is City Arts available?
City Arts. Yeah, and as a matter of fact, is City Arts here?
All right, Tag, you're it.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I would stand up, but it seems like this is the best vantage point.
Okay, yes.
To be able to see.
Yeah.
Okay, hello. My name is Nicole York. I'm the program manager at Teaching. It's our umbrella is the Community Initiatives of New York, but our program specifically for youth is the Teaching a Generation program, which I have some of my lovely ambassadors here, and we've got some on there. We were here, we were really grateful for the support that we got in West Harlem for the event that we had last week. We had Matthew Knowles come and speak to about 500 school kids on a field trip, and they got to talk about the power of music, about how they can propel their own artist journeys forward. And we want to keep collaborating with different artist organizations in the community We have a really great connections and resources, and we are trying to connect those with the kids and the artists that we work with, and they have such great potential, and they do great work, and so we're here. If you have any youth ages 14 to 24, we meet every Thursday for conversation, and we would love to create and to collaborate.
If you have, if your young, lovely, wonderful people have art, visual art that they would like to enter into, possibly be available to showcase their art.
Okay.
Pick up one of those flyers over there.
Got it.
And there's a QR code, have your submission, and hopefully you'll be in it.
Yes, and we do have some of our flyers over there.
Great.
Did anybody have any questions for Tag You?
I was at the big,
Yeah.
it was just good to see so many, and the young folks, asked very good pointed questions that he addressed, as Joe was the young lady was saying.
Oh.
You know, so I really like what you all are doing. When your name church represented us last time, and then also at Riverbank, you were there too. So I really think you're really a progressive. It's good to see. You don't see many good things that young folks are doing, and they're doing some positive, progressive things. And
they were out in droves.
Yes,
they represented.
I was impressed. A nice crowd of folks, and they were mannerable, good questions.
Any other questions?
Yeah, oh, Talana, I have a question. Sorry, it's kind of hard for me to hear, and I apologize. It's probably on my end, but just two questions, and I'm sorry if you said it and I couldn't hear. Where are you located, and are these programs free? Thank you.
Yes, all of our programming is free. Our office is in Central Harlem on 135th and out of Clayton Powell. But we work in 25 schools across the school district, and all of our events we invite across the New York City public schools. So the last event that we did last week was at the Forum at Columbia. We also, like up here, we work in Urban Assembly for the Performing Arts. We work with some of those kids. So that's kind of our West Harlem connection, but we reach out to all boroughs. We're trying to get to 7, and we'll get there. Thank you.
Meetings on Thursday, what address is that?
Thursdays, from 4:30 to 6 at Salem United Methodist Church. We always announce what we're doing. It's on 129th and out of Clayton Powell. But all of our announcements, all of the things that we do are always on our Instagram at TCIONY. And that's how you can keep updated. All of our events, again, are free. And we love to offer as many resources as we can to the community.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So now we're moving on to.
Get a question, please. No, sir.
We're moving on to Maysville Documentary Center, Kazembe Balangu.
Kazembe Balagoon, it's so wonderful to be here. Thank you so much, my dear sister. My name is Kazembe Balagoon. First of all, this is my first meeting at CB9. I feel very welcomed, and this is a very lively meeting. It's also a very honor. I am a native son of Harlem on 55th Street, 8th Avenue, Polygon's housing projects. For those of you who don't know, the Maysville Documentary Center was founded by the legendary documentarian Albert Maysles in 2005 to provide low cost and no cost training in documentary filmmaking to the Harlem community. In 2008, we expanded to a micro cinema that has about 50 seats, where we currently show world-class documentaries. And we're the only art house north of Lincoln Center dedicated to art house documentaries. We are located on 343 Lenox Avenue. And we are, most of our programs are, including the cinema and our Teen Docs program, and also our community-based programs are free and to low cost. The reason I'm here today is because we actually have a couple of new series that are on the agenda. One is looking, the series that I am programming is called the Lafarge Clinic Remixed, which is looking at the history of the first mental health clinic that was opened up in Harlem, called the Paul Lafarge Clinic, that was housed in St. Philip's Episcopal Church in Harlem, that was primarily founded by the author Richard Wright and a Jewish American psychoanalyst named Frederick Wortham. They founded the clinic in hopes of providing at that time African Americans, mostly poor, mental health services in the community. The reason I started this series is because I wanted to look at the history of mental health in our community, but also to remove a lot of the stigma around talking about mental health. So the series that we have is a group of films that deal with not only the history of Lafarge Clinic, but some of the people who are involved in it. It's already started. We did a screening of Richard Wright's Native Son, as well as a documentary on the anti-colonial psychiatrist Franz Fanon called Black Skin's White Mask. And we also had a evening of films on organizing in Harlem called What's Happening in Harlem. On March 7th, we'll be showing a very classic film called The Quiet One, which actually was filmed in Harlem. It was nominated for the 1948 Academy Award for Best Documentary. And on March 14th, we'll be showing a classic film called The Harlem School, which is a documentary about a Harlem classroom in the 1970s. I'm gonna drop a text and a link, but if you want more information about Maisel Cinema, you can check our website out, maysles.org. We're also on Instagram, Maisels Documentary Center, at Maisels Documentary Center. And it'll be great to see you all at the theater sometime. Like I said, we certainly believe in not just folks coming in as theater goers, but leaving as citizens. And we want to continue to help be a venue to strengthen the Harlem community. So it's an honor to be here tonight, and thank you so much.
Thank you for your presentation.
Did anyone
And
have
if-
any questions?
And if you have soft copies of your upcoming films, please send it to Walter and I, and we'll disseminate it to our community.
Absolutely.
Does
Thank you so
anyone
much. And I'm gonna
have
drop a
any
link
questions?
for the series in the chat too, okay?
Questions for Maisel? Okay, thank you very much. And I think I neglected to say, because we are so full today, we're asking that you, and this is not you, because I'm back. But we're asking that you please keep your presentations to 7 minutes, 7 minutes. We're moving on to Broadway Mall Association.
I'm Kate Waddell, and just to refresh everybody's mind about the Broadway Mall Association, we're a nonprofit organization founded in 1980, and we're the stewards of the green medians that run on Broadway from 70th Street to 168th Street. In a way, it's sort of the longest park in New York City, with a particular focus on horticulture. We work in partnership with New York City Parks. We also light malls during the dark winter months. And what brings us here today is the BMA's Art on the Malls program. We program the malls with public art, presenting a series of outdoor sculpture
Now, do you want spaghetti for
exhibitions.
dinner? Yeah. Okay, let me heat that up for you, okay?
Please put yourself on mute.
All right.
We program the malls with public art, and we try to have a annual show of public art whenever it's possible. We've been doing this since 2005, when the program began. We are 2 members of a 5-member public arts committee, and it's been a fun upcoming show.
Thanks, Kate. So we're here to inform everyone about the upcoming art exhibition which is entitled Sean Scully Broadway Shuffle. And it's opening in mid-July and will run some 6 to 8 months into 2025. And it's our the BMA's 14th public art exhibition in our series, which is State initiated in 2005. And it's organized by the BMA, presented by the BMA, in partnership with NYC Parks, their Art in the Parks program. And then in this case, Listen Gallery, which is the Chelsea Gallery. There'll be 7 sculptures comprising the target exhibition, presented at locations from Lincoln Square / Dante Park, 64th Street, all the way up to Washington Heights. And one of the film pieces will be cited within CB9's book set, which we'll get to shortly. Sean Scully is an Irish-born American artist of great distinction, and he's one of the most important artists of his generation. He has been based here since 1975. He's currently taking a sort of 4-year hiatus to London, where he grew up in South London, was Irish-born, but is American, and that he's traveling back and forth to be with us. And while this exhibition is going on, being in the art world, we like to display visuals. This is our artist. This is the portrait of Sean. This, and he is internationally renowned, arguably the world's leading abstract artist, and collections, public and private, worldwide, and has exhibited worldwide. He is prominently known for his paintings, these large-scale industrial abstract composed of vertical and horizontal bands and blocks and grids and geometric forms, and is an extraordinary colorist. His works in New York are in MoMA, Guggenheim, and the Met, et cetera. And over his 5 decades long career, he's produced an impressive body of work with some several thousand paintings and works on paper, prints and photographs. But we're here to talk about sculpture, because although here are some examples of this paintings, if you want to hold these up. But
Do you know which one will be in our district?
Yes, coming up right now. It is this sculpture from 2018. In the exhibition, there are 7 sculptures. 2 are being fabricated for this project, and 5 are existing. This is one of the existing pieces, and this is made of aluminum and automotive parts, and it's automotive paint, and it's being sited at 117th Street at the crosswalk there, between the mall, the crosswalk between Columbia and Barnard. And he has worked for the outdoors and a variety of materials, and wood and metal and glass, and also works on materials. And again, this is a sculpture that features his distinctive style and language. And this sculpture is going to be cited there in honor of the great and late American art critic and writer and philosopher Arthur Danto, who had a long association with Columbia. And then if you're interested in knowing what the other sculptures that will comprise the exhibition, there is this large scale work that's being fabricated for Lincoln, the Dante Park site. And then in wood, these are made out of railway sleepers, And so it's in dialogue with the
They're all so on.
train tracks that run over. This is more subtle. Sometimes they're extremely colorful and bold and attention getting. And in this case, at 79th Street, more subtle. Another one is
Can you take some questions?
yes, of course.
I have two.
Yes.
How do you choose your artists and how, would one be able to get involved with the Broadway Mall Association?
You want to take that, Kate, or do you want me? I'm gonna take that. Okay, all right, fine. We have a large network. We work with artists, approach us, people who are interested in exhibiting, and go on our website, and there are distinctive set of guidelines there about how one goes about this, and could collaborate with us, could work with us, and together with the Parks Department. And what was your second question?
How does one get involved in terms of not as an artist, but how do you, is there a board or?
How do you become part of the committee?
Yes, we have a board, there's a board of directors, and then we also have a public art committee. And there are currently five members.
She's asking, how do you become a member? How do you become a part of the committee?
Express an interest, and then the dialogue happens with the board.
Okay, and how many on the board?
On the board right now, there are about, I think, maybe 16 or so of us on the board at large.
Mm-hmm.
And then the committee members are made up of board members, with one exception, a former board member who now is no longer a board member.
And are you a nonprofit? Were you just a nonprofit that was interested and then you began this sort of?
Yes, our chief responsibility is being the stewards of and maintaining the mall, so horticulture.
So you're like friends of the malls, the Broadway Mall, that's how it kind of started?
Yes.
In a way, okay.
Are you associated with, there's an art gallery on 96th Street in the middle of is that part of your organization?
No, it's not. That was a separate one. It's disbanded. It's no longer, it was kind of a electronic coalition of the arts, and they had a sort of a temporary presence there, and they were
there for years.
Yeah, well, I mean, sorry, by temporary, I meant they would have exhibitions and they would have temporary exhibitions.
Yes.
But they are no longer in existence.
The space is not utilized anymore?
Well, it's the Parks Department and the building needs substantial. But they are.
Juan, you had a question?
Oh, yeah, what is your connection between this artwork to the community? Like, the pieces that you're choosing for Harlem, how are they connected to Harlem? Or to me, or to anybody here in the community?
When an artist, when we begin to have a dialogue with the artist, then they present a proposal of work that they are thinking to have a relationship to the sites. So they're responding to the sites in their vocabulary.
How do you choose the site, the specific site? Are the sites chosen first, or there's the piece and then you say, oh, I've looked through the community and that'll go best here? How do you do that?
We have about 10 sites that we regularly program, because our jurisdiction is about 5 miles. And there are about 10 that have been successfully used, and we tend to be on hardscapes. We don't tend to exhibit within the malls because of the plantings, and also people can't really access them. And so then the artist will we'll look at the available sites and then together we figure out what gets exhibited where. And, there was something else that was going. I just went.
We're gonna just take one more question.
Sure.
It's not a question. I'm familiar with the Broadway Mall Association. I used to deal with them, and if Michael Palmer is still there, his mother and I worked.
Yes.
You remember? Michael's mother, and Yvonne Stedman, the three of us had worked with Broadway Mall Association, so.
Yes, we even received a grant from the Broadway Mall Association to put up Christmas tree lights on the malls during Christmas time.
So basically, okay, I'm trying to be, polite here. The Broadway Mall Association works with artists who are represented by a gallery. So therefore, the costs can be taken care of. Because it is expensive presenting public art. So this is how they deal with it. They get artists who's affiliated with the gallery. I know Sean Soley. Right, and so therefore it can be realized because they're doing several pieces. The problem is the response. Broadway Mall Association has, they're not that flexible, but maybe now because of technology, to make it more, as Juan was bringing up, how do you make it where it connects to the people in the community? Nowadays, you can respond to an exhibition, and that can be done digitally. So you can actually do an open call to West Harlem artists, if you like, to have them respond to what he is presenting. You could do it digitally, make it available, have QR codes on the signage, and boom, you just got diversity, just like that.
We're also developing school curriculum that can be disseminated through all the schools.
But see, you have to understand what he is saying.
No, I do.
What he's saying is that it's not enough diversity, and the children up here are not going to respond because they're gonna say, what does this man have to do with my life? So you could do that by having a digital response to his work, and that could be both visual and auditory, where you can have poetry, you can have music, and now you've made it where it's relevant to people in the community.
Yeah, I have in the past, we did, when audio guides were.
But this won't be an audio guide, this is a total response to, so they can organize it, you don't have to do it, and you just got your self diversity.
Might need to upgrade, right?
Huh?
Might need to upgrade.
Well,
I was formerly on a Broadway, suburban, while they have.
oh, yeah, Bob is still there.
Yeah.
I used to send money. So, y'all need to upgrade.
Well,
Okay,
the one thing I remember now what I was gonna say, there has been an increased focus on the sites that are further out town, because, when artists come in, they're often most interested in, they immediately want to have their work on view across from Lincoln Center, because,
Of the proximity to.
but we've made a concerted effort and successfully so to really put the focus on the uptown sites. And in this case, it seems we've been successful in deciding for the opening rather than to have it in the West 70s. We're gonna have it on 157th Street, so 157.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our next presentation is Stephanie Nelson, Dance Group.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. So Stephanie Nelson Dance Group was founded back in 2000. We've been providing programming for New York City, so for the past 24 years. We're mainly a contemporary dance company. We have a summer dance program called Dance Italia, which is a month-long program that takes place in Lucca, Italy every summer. And recently we were able to take over a space in Lucca, an old car garage, which we recently renovated. And it's now, it's an open space for performing arts. It's just a big, open, beautiful space. And It's empty for about 15 weeks a year. And I don't know if this is relevant to this conversation because I know it's all very West Harlem focused, but if anybody were looking for ideas on how to support artist residencies from here to be there, we have 15 weeks where the space is empty and we're looking for funding opportunities and are open to any ideas that people might have on how to establish funding for that, to bring West Harlem artists over to Italy to have an intensive workspace. It's mostly for movement-based artists, but we're open to ideas for other things as well. So our work here in West Harlem, we're based in Morningside Heights. We have a community partnership with Broadway Presbyterian Church, located at 114th and Broadway, and they recently have provided us with what feels like a home in our neighborhood. We've produced a series of events that we call, that are part of our Moving Memory Project. So in addition to creating work, original artworks, original dances under the guise of Stephanie Nelson Dance Group, we have community programs where we've worked with youth. We teach in the community. We've been doing that since we incorporated back in 2000. We also work primarily with people with disabilities in collaboration with AHRC New York City. They've been a collaborating partner since 2014. We provide over 100 free movement classes for people with disabilities. 60 for young adults, and then another 40 sessions for seniors with disabilities as part of what we call our Moving Memory Project. So those are our main focuses here in West Harlem. Our recent events have to do with the Moving Memory Project. And we started that in 2019. I made a piece called My Name Is, and it was made in response to a family member being diagnosed with dementia. And so I did a deep dive to research because all art is ultimately cathartic. And it became this sort of new initiative that the company took on, promoting, producing events that have to do with discussion around memory, creating opportunities for people to share stories. What we found over time is that the most difficult part there are a lot of difficult parts about caring for somebody with dementia, but that people feel very isolated and alone. And we found that the response to the works about this were received as an outlet. And that was really exciting for us as a dance company to be able to really provide an outlet in the community based off of original artwork and dance and all of that. So we've had a bunch of events. The last one was February 9th, and that was called Round the Block, and it was a partnership with Theater Lab. And we were lucky enough to have Michael Palma from West Harlem Arts Alliance give a little presentation about what they're doing. And so that was really exciting. We had 2 tour guides. We had one with Sam Cavede. He's a West Harlem-based stand-up comedian and theater person. Claire Leibowitz also did a tour, and it featured dance. It featured an interactive art making session with Vicky Fremont, also located in West Harlem. Tiana Ayala is a young choreographer based in West Harlem, and she taught the group some movement, and then they went on the tour and they did it around in the streets. We had a West African drummer named Vado Diamande, and then some local businesses that shared the history of their tenancy in the neighborhood. And maybe I'm talking too long, I don't know. Daria, let me know.
Whenever, are you finished?
I mean, the 2 things I want to say is that I didn't remember is that we are a nonprofit, and that I remembered one of the 2 things I wanted to say. Oh, and then we have upcoming events, one on April 5th, and then at both at the church, one on April 5th, and then another one on June 14th at Broadway Presbyterian Church. And so the best way to find out what we're doing is either to check out our website, sndancegroup.org, it's in the chat, or to follow us on Instagram as SN Dance Group. And that's it. If anyone has any questions.
If there's a soft copy, send it to Tina and Walter.
Send you some soft copies.
Does anybody have any questions for Stephanie? Anybody online?
Hi, you mentioned a program to send Harlem youth to Italy or dancers to Italy. Is that correct?
It is correct. So 2 things. We have a space in Italy where we would provide potential artist residency programs for professional older artists. And we have a young artist program for young dancers ages 15, 16, 17. And we have a bunch of scholarship money left to give out. So if you know a very talented young dancer who would love to spend 15 days in Italy, please send them our way.
Could you drop your email in the chat or send it to me? I was just looking for the information and I couldn't find it on your website. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna leave my email right now in the chat, and I'll also leave. So the website for the dance program in Italy is different than my dance company, so I'm gonna send you that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Which one is that? Dance Italia?
It's Dance Italia, yeah.
So you have like 3 different organizations.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
It's really nuts. Yeah.
Okay. Did anybody help anyone else?
Is there
have
any
a
high
question?
schools for performing arts in Harlem?
Yes.
Yeah.
Urban Assembly for the Performing Arts is.
Have you tried any of the high schools? I'm sorry, ma'am, could you repeat it again?
There's Urban Assembly for the Performing Arts is in West Harlem specifically.
Would that be something that you might want to consider to see if anyone there's a good dancer that you might want to promote and send to Italy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Stephanie, are you in touch with our youth education and libraries committee?
I didn't hear say that again. Am I in touch with?
Is this thing on? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I just didn't catch the name. Urban Youth
Education and Libraries Committee. Are you in touch with them?
No, I didn't even know about them.
I'll put you in touch.
Plus you have
Beautiful.
and Harlem School of the Arts.
Yeah, I was about to
Absolutely.
say that. Yeah.
Yeah,
This
those
is
are
Barbara.
already on our radar.
Okay.
I will
When
put
you, I'm sorry, I have a question. This is Barbara Adeola. When you say contemporary dance, what dance style is that?
That's a really good question. For me, it's almost anything that can't be categorized as a dance form that you would know. It's kind of anything goes.
Okay.
It's my work is mostly it's not mostly, but it's based in sort of theater dance, sort of absurdity, Pina Bauschian. It's postmodern, anything goes.
Okay, good. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephanie.
Thank you, Daria.
Okay. We are moving on. That was great, by the way. That's our inside joke. Our next is Messiah Ramkissoon from Youth Justice Network.
Good evening, everyone. Messiah, Jack, Anthony here today. We represent Youth Justice Network. I'll keep it brief because I know we are on a tight time capsule. But Youth Justice Network was founded 34 years ago on the school floor of Rikers Island as the first nonprofit to support 16 to 24-year-olds coming out of incarceration. While it was still legal for children to be in an adult facility, it was nothing really for them when they came home. The services were more adult-focused services. So we focus exclusively on young people coming home in the 5 boroughs, supporting them through wraparound services. We pretty much serve as the bridge between these young people or whatever their respective needs and wants are. We do that through a plethora of services, inclusive of, but not limited to, youth advocacy, mentorship, employment services, education, court advocacy. And we are here more importantly today because we received a small grant from the West Harlem Development Corporation, which we implemented an arts initiative called Hear Us, See Us here in the West Harlem community. A lot of times we speak for young people, but young people don't get to speak for themselves. Because this is about Hear Us, See Us, young people actually owning their identity through the mediums of photography as well as music. And I'm gonna let these gentlemen right here who work more closely with the initiative give us a little spill on exactly what's happening.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Jack Powers. I'm the Director of Community Outreach, so I manage a team of guys that recruit young justice-involved people in all 5 boroughs. But I'm also the founder of a small photography nonprofit that trains young people to do, learn how to take photos, become photojournalists, get gigs. About a year and a half ago, my organization partnered with YJN and 7 young people in our program, our office on West 125th, started their journey becoming photographers. And as you mentioned, 8 months later, they had a show down the Lower East Side in the gallery. And that was May of 23. And then we connected with the West Harlem Community Foundation to do something with art and music and photography. So those young photographers jumped in again and started documenting this area. And they had a wonderful show right before the holidays at the Forum, Columbia, where all their work was hung up on the glass there, and it was for sale. And it sold, and people could scan a QR code, and each photographer got all the money.
Wow.
They go back. Really, these people that we've known for some of them years now, some just home from Rikers Island. The camera is their tool, and they're gigging and they're getting jobs. One is a contracted photographer for the United Nations, and he was shooting at the General Assembly. So anyway, that was part one of Here See Us. Their photos, like I said, were at the Forum in December, but now they're going over to do some music, and new people from Manhattanville are getting involved with that, and that's where Anthony jumps in. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anthony DeJesus, again, the Arts and Rec Director at YJN. And so the second half of Here See Us is going to be a music portion, but we're also going to shoot a music video that reflects the photos and the message of Here See Us for young people in the communities. We're only 3 weeks in, but part of the workshop is going to be rooted in teaching them music technology, songwriting, song development, and history of music before we get into actually making the song. In the video, we really want to get more into a space of teaching young people about music and all the other components that could lead to other career paths in music besides just being a musical artist. Within that, we are going to have open mics, and we're going to have guests who are going to come and talk about music business and their journeys as well to empower them on these journeys, and then shoot a beautiful music video that we can showcase with the photography. And I hope that we're only 3 weeks in, so there's not much to talk about, but it's been excellent. And we also circled around, of course, mentoring. You know, myself, I'm a muralist. I have a few murals in Harlem. Myself, I'm not a music person per se. Messiah is the music guy. But of course, I'm entrenched in music and what it does for the arts in all angles. So this is what we're bringing in the music component, and I'm excited to be launching in June our music video. And I'll be sending information if you guys want to come and partake in it and to see what these people have created.
And last but not least, if you go to youthjustice.org, that's our website. You can find the actual component on the website, the gallery component, where you can purchase their works online as well. And like Jack said, all the proceeds go back to the young people. Another part he left out, every young person who participated got the opportunity to keep and own their own digital camera as a result.
Amazing. I just wanna make a connection before we open up for questions. And I know that you already have your music and your photography. But in terms of Here See Us, I would also like to sort of add that possibly writing in that. And we happen to have a gentleman who's in publishing in the room. He actually, who was that? Danny Simmons? He published Danny Simmons' first book. He's looking to, he's not presenting tonight, John McGregor, but he is looking to open a bookstore in Harlem, a general interest bookstore in Harlem. So I really would like for you all to connect you all, because that might be a good outlet for the kids as well, you know, writing books. Were there any questions?
Where do you get your referrals?
Good question. So we have,
technically,
that's my paid responsibility at Youth Justice Network. As Messiah mentioned, we were founded on the school floor of Rikers Island. So all of us have worked there. I was an advocate there for years, and that used to be our only source. We'd have a team that would go in and meet young people that got there within their first 24 to 48 hours of, getting incarcerated and being there. We'd have an advocate meet them there and get in touch, right? And then we'd work with them, and eventually when they got home, they'd come to our offices. During the pandemic, that slowed down because DOC kicked a lot of us out, community organizations. It said with only COs and people that are incarcerated here, you're not allowed. So that's when we shifted gears and created this mobile initiative in the community. It's a converted bus, and we park in a different neighborhood every single day across the 5 boroughs. We set up in areas where we know that young people are targeted for incarceration. We've worked anywhere from here, right in Manhattanville to Grant, all across 125th. in every single borough, from Mother Gaston and Brownville to Stapleton and, Staten Island to Soundview in the Bronx.
Yeah, each day of the week, the bus goes to a different borough, and like you said, they focus on neighborhoods that most of our youth come home to. You know, a lot of young people don't leave their neighborhoods for safety reasons, right? A lot of them know you leave their neighborhoods because they just came home and the structure just wasn't there, so they're not really thinking about it. There's various reasons. So what this allows us to do is bring all the resources we offer, the employment, the education, everything to break that cycle, we now bring to the doorstep of the community. So now we have not just the young people, but also the family members, right? The mothers, the uncles, the fathers said, hey, I'm coming back next Wednesday. I got a young man, I got a grandson who needs that support. So we now bring the doorstep, and we still have the team that's on Rikers that would be doing the outreach in the jails. We also get a lot of referrals to court advocacy aspect of it too. The attorneys, we also have a court advocacy team that works exclusively in the courts every day to expedite return home for young people who are faced with certain charges.
How old is your organization?
34 years old. Next year's our 35-year anniversary.
Wow.
And we were formerly known as Friends of Island Academy. When we were just on Rikers Island during the pandemic, we rebranded because continuing to be associated with Rikers Island, we determined.
It's just now who we are. The name is misleading,
Yeah.
but just to become more specific, I know time is of the essence. The school was called Island Academy, and that's how we became Friends of Island Academy, because the principal of the school saw this cycle and was the first. The sister was the first one to really branch out and create a nonprofit to support this issue with young people coming home.
Please have the youth, young men, especially any of the visual artists, apply to, submit their artwork for, our next showcase.
Yes, ma'am, for sure.
Yes.
Were there any questions, from the online, from our virtual attendees? Any questions? Okay.
There's some postcards here of their work. Feel free to take them.
Thank you so much.
Do you have partnership or dialogue with the Art for Justice
I don't know.
We should.
program?
Please
Do you know
introduce.
about that program?
No,
I don't.
but we know.
I'll talk to you.
And this is why you come to the board.
This
This is why you come to the board.
And I live right here, a block from the Brand Project, so it makes sense.
Please drop by anytime. Well, thank you so much. Now we're moving on to Harlem Late Night Jazz, Dakota Pippin. Welcome.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here. I always learn something. And
You always bring something too. We can't wait to hear what you got to say.
but it's uplifting because you don't always know the kinds of people and the kinds of work that's going on in the neighborhood. So thank you for that. Maybe I should just start with a little bit about us, and then I have some new announcements that we're excited about. Harlem Late, but I apologize for it being me, because C. Kelly Wright, who is our artistic director, she's in a play right now. So she can't be here, and I'm sure she'd probably do a better job of giving you this information. But we're 8 years old. We've booked over 1,000 musician gigs, all in Harlem during that period. I appreciated the comment that the gentleman made about the artist. Our objective is music preservation in Harlem, maintaining the musical legacy here, keeping the music alive. And we think there's 3 parts to that. And one of the parts, of course, is the artist. And the best way to help an artist is to give an artist gigs.
Absolutely.
So we really focused. We knew that was important. The other thing we knew is venues. Harlem venues are critical. We got started because St. Nick's Pub closed. It was an emotional reaction to that. And since then, Harlem has been through a lot, but we know supporting venues and is a focus. And then finally, pass it on to future generations. And so I know Daria knows some stuff that we're doing on the education side with the Jazz History Tree, but that's what our organization is all about. So go to Harlem Late. Oh, I should say this before I make the new announcement. We currently have music Um, well, as of now, 6 of the 7 days in Harlem venues, we have music, jazz, soul, blues, a variety, in a variety of venues. And if you go to our website, um, harlemlatenightjazz.org, you'll see our calendar. And we're proud of the calendar. I won't go through it now. I only got 7 minutes. But go to our calendar. We're 6 of 7 nights. We're proud of that. Now, finally, there are some new items that I would like to talk about. We're very proud that going into this year, well, first thing I should say is that we've been in 18 Harlem venues, and many of them are in West Harlem. Uh, you know, I could put just to name a few: the Cotton Club, Savannah, Hamilton, Bird in Hand, Dinosaur Barbecue. Those are a few that I could think of, and of course the Uptown Night Market, which takes place there. So let me get into what's new. What's new is coming up in April. We're having our 2nd annual Harlem Jazz Club Revival. We're very excited about it. There will be over 15 venues, all in Harlem, participating in this. It's a 10-day jazz festival. There will be over 60 events and well over 100 artists. And that's coming up April 12th through April 21st. We've sent out some save the dates. We did this last year, and we were shocked that we got 18 venues to participate. We didn't even know there were 18 venues. So the objective of this is to make Harlem a destination. They have the Winter Jazz Fest, which is successful now downtown. We do this twice a year, and with April, we'll do it again in October. And over that period, that 10-day period, our objective is to make Harlem a music destination, it will be annual events. And we're excited about it. You'll start seeing some of the marketing very soon. We've booked Grammy Award winners that want to come and play and be a part of this. And associated with that, the historic Minton's Playhouse is now under new owners. There are new owners that have taken over Minton's a couple of months ago. They're dynamic entrepreneurs that understand the history of Minton's, and they've committed to returning Minton's Playhouse. If you don't know, that's a national landmark where bebop was born. We're now curating music there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the historic Minton's Playhouse, evening sets, and for those jazz aficionados, late night jams, 11 to 3 a.m., Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And why are those important? Actually, that's when all that great music was created at Minton's. Bebop, that's how it was created. But that's when the masters can come up and connect with the young lions coming in. That's when the new music has been, how it's created. Harlem, which has always been the center of that, has been lacking that. So we're very proud to be back, not only doing that, but in a historic venue like Minton's Playhouse, where everybody's played. And then finally, the Uptown Night Market. We will be curating the music for the Uptown Night Market again this year. There'll be 8 events, the second Thursday of the month starting in April. And if you're not familiar with the Uptown Night Market, it's a foodie music event, attracts 5,000 to 7,000 people every event. And music is, of course, is how we contribute. And the only one other thing, while they are not in CB9, we support the New Amsterdam Music Association, which is the oldest association in the United States for Black musicians, and many musicians from West Harlem play there. By the way, there are a lot of musicians who live in West Harlem. Young musicians, many of whom we're learning. We didn't even know they existed. But the New Amsterdam Music Association was founded in 1905. Early members, the likes of James Reese Europe and Hubie Blake and Fats Waller. It's been in its current building over 100 years, and every Wednesday we have a program where we bring masters and young lions together. So,
Can you take some
7
questions?
minutes are up.
Can you take some questions?
Yes, please.
What, does anybody have any questions for Harlem Late Night Jazz?
Hi, this is
Go ahead.
Barbara Adeola. I'm jumping in because it's 8:19. He already mentioned two of my favorite places. That's Minton's. I'm glad you're connected with them. Those brothers are really on point. And of course, New Amsterdam Music Association. My question is, it might be too late for April, but I know of a spot that's going to be opening up. They've done some soft openings. They're on 145th between Convent and Amsterdam. And this is right in their pocket of what they'd like to see happen in Harlem. So I would love to introduce you to the owners and maybe talk about adding their venue for October if it's too late for April, because they're going to open in the summer, so April might be too soon anyway. Secondly, that same location is open to some art exhibition as well. So, but I don't want to say too much about the art side, but I know definitely the music side is right in their pocket. So,
Barbara,
Well,
your
let me say
information is in the
definitely.
chat.
yes, I'm Black American Dance Heritage, Barbara Adeola.
Please put it in the chat.
It's in there already. I'm in there.
Yeah,
Okay.
let me just say yes. We definitely would be interested in meeting with them, and if they could be part of the revival either in April or October. I know the place because I live not very far from it. I'm on Convent and 148th. It's between
Okay.
Convent Avenue and Amsterdam. It's a
Mhm.
beautiful brownstone.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Was there. They had music there, I don't know how many years ago, 15 years ago? I mean, I don't know, 20
I
years
don't
ago?
know, but they
Yeah.
recently, did a soft opening for Valentine's Day with Lindy Hop and Swing. And it's almost like the sort of a speakeasy house, what you call rent party vibe, if you
Yeah, no, it's a
understand. Yeah.
beautiful spot, and they
Yeah.
got the second floor and the third
Yes.
floor.
Yes. So
Yeah.
they have a lot of plans. Yeah.
In the interest of time, I'm gonna
Yeah,
ask
sorry.
you to
Thank you.
connect offline, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But thank you so much for that, Barbara. I love that collaboration. Did anybody else have any questions, comments for Harlem Late Night Jazz?
Comment, they featured them on Here and Now last Sunday on Channel 7.
Woo, woo.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that. Let me just say a little bit about Minton's Playhouse.
We already
You
heard
don't have
from
time.
it.
You don't have time.
And
Okay.
they're not in our district. So, and not to say we do cross pollinate. We've had that said several times tonight, and that is one of the things that we are really trying to do. And that is also a thing that Harlem Arts Alliance is really pushing for, bringing all of specifically the community boards in order to bring the arts community and the community in general. Harlem is one community. It's not three or four. It's one community. And we are moving in such a way. So that I'm glad that it's actually been said. And I'm glad that everybody's on that same page. Thank you so much, Dakota.
Thank you
As
for
always,
inviting me.
I'm gonna come out to your, tell your jazz tree, website so that people can check that out as
Oh,
well.
yes,
Just
please,
really
please,
quickly.
please go to jazzhistorytree.com. You'll see a history of the music going back before 1619 to today. There are about 100 videos loaded and 34 genres of music are covered. it's all the same music. Each generation just adds a branch. And all that tree says. It's been used by some professors from university all the way down to elementary school. And we encourage it. It's free for everyone. I'm working on adding some enhancements that I won't talk about now. And thank you.
Thank you. Was there any other WHDC grantees who need to get your presentation in before this window closes?
Yes, I do. Tijani.
Tijani, what is your organization again?
USA Mali Charitable Association.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm
sorry, what was that? USA Mali Charitable
Association.
Association. Okay, go ahead.
Business and Mandingo Cultural Center.
Start the presentation.
So we focus on West African culture, like introducing New Yorkers to West African culture, especially young New Yorkers. So we have programs with VCD's public schools, where we have African dance classes. And for the last 5 years, we've been partnering with Public School 125 in Harlem, where we have classes. We teach like from 3rd grade to 6th grade how to dance African dance and how to sing some African songs. We also have storytelling programs with that school. So, and since 3 years ago, we try to embrace cultural diversity because we've been encouraged by the city's Department of Cultural Affairs to promote inclusivity and cultural diversity. So we, for example, last year, we had an Indian program alongside the West African dance program. So it's like a 4 or 5 months classes. And at the end of the year, like in May, we will have a culminating event where students will showcase what you have learned in front of their parents and their invitees. So we, at the beginning, we were focusing on Americans of African descent, but currently, the non-Africans are the majority of participants, like white and Latino students constitute the majority of the participants, which is, to my view, a good thing. So, like I say, every May, we will have a culminating event with that school, and it's basically to promote West African dance in New York.
Thank you. Were there any questions for Tijani? Any questions? Okay, thank you very much. Everyone who is a grantee, please email us your form tonight. The sooner the better, and then we can get it back to you. And just, I know we are late, but Ewan brought up something that's.
Yes. I'm sorry, does that apply to us when you said email a form?
Yes.
Are you a grantee?
WHDC.
Yes, get it from Joanna.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And I might have
maybe our
an empty
communications
one.
team has it already. I'll make sure.
Okay.
But it has to come to us.
Ewan, if you can just really quickly speak on the bill, because I think it's a good time to talk about it. We're not gonna stay too long, but I just want you to be able to mention it.
Right. And what I'll do is I'll send you, copies of the bill and what we are thinking about it. But quickly, the reason, for me being here tonight really is to bring your attention to the pending legislative bill in Albany and to request a letter of support in launching an advocacy campaign to get the bill moving again before the end of this legislative session.
What is the bill?
This bill is A2563A, which calls for developing guidelines and criteria criteria for designation of arts and culture districts in New York State. It was introduced by Senator Serrano in 2026 and have gone through a number of rewrites over the years. But in the last couple of years, it has been passed by the Senate more than once, straight through to a full vote. And with the Assembly, once a year and a half, both the Assembly and the Senate were in sync, and it was pushed to the House for a full vote, but it was never called up by the Speaker. So this year, so you know, every time a bill fails to be called up within a legislative session, it has to start all over again, the next legislative session. And there's got to be political will, you know, to activate that process again. So we're here this legislative session with Harlem One Stop and our Harlem Cultural Collaborative have been advocating for this bill since 2016 when Serrano first came to a legislative brief. And what we want to do, and we had a legislative brief again last month, and we were advised to launch a campaign, get support for it, get signatures as far reaching as possible, which means upstate and downstate, and begin the process if we want to see it move this legislative session. So the bill is not a funded bill, but what it is, as I said, it creates guidelines for the designation. And what it does is offers or opens opportunity for funding and assistance from the Council of the Arts and ESD, Empire State Development, for grants and marketing and tourism initiatives. And basically it's economic development bill. And
Ewan, is there a deadline on this?
Well, the legislative session ends in June.
Okay, because this is something that we would definitely need to collaborate with our Economic Development Committee on.
Yes, so I plan on attending that meeting as well. I had brought it up to Victor several months ago, but since we were advised, you know, to really become actively involved in advocating for this bill, then you know, that's the reason we're doing this push. I don't know if we'll succeed this year, but at least we can begin to build awareness and momentum in terms of signatures.
Thank you.
You said Harlem is one community, which it is, but we all know that East Harlem and West Harlem are the stepchildren.
Exactly. We were trying to bring it all together, and we appreciate all your work on, you are always on the front lines for this. So thank you for bringing this to our attention. I'm gonna contact you offline.
Yeah, that would be great. And in the meantime, I will send you, you know, the backup information on the bill.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we're moving on to our old business. Is there any old business? Okay, that's fine. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And thank you. Thank you. New business. This is just really quick. I just want to bring this up. I mentioned it before, and I wanted to just sort of get the conversation going. And this is arts and culture collaboration. And not only, and it's basically about arts and culture collaboration with, it's arts and culture collaboration with our cannabis task force. And because of the possibilities of, you know, how, you know, to be honest, cannabis and arts, and this is a grown folks conversation, but you know, cannabis and the arts, there has been collaboration in the past. And it's, you know, it's not all about the using of the cannabis. There are a lot of economic opportunities in this as well. And, you know, whether it be events or whatever, to connect artists with these new opportunities in the legal cannabis industry. I also wanted to bring up my hope that we can collaborate with our youth education and libraries as well, because that's something that we've never done. And this is for the members of our committee. To just get your minds going and thinking about it is something I'm gonna bring up next month, and you know, so that we can start just again collaborating and making so that it's not just in a box. There are so many things. Artists do art, but artists also have to make money. And there's a whole industry, a new industry that needs to be touched. There's a whole bunch of stuff. We have a bunch of people who presented tonight who are youth-based organizations with the arts. And people come and collaborate with each other, but as a committee, we don't ever really discuss it. So I'd like to get the conversation going. And unless anybody has anything to say about that right now, questions, comments? Okay, I'm gonna leave that right there.
I did have a
Barbara?
comment real quick. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just, there's an Office of Cannabis Management that I went to a local meeting on last week. A lot of interesting information. I think they were very open and resourceful. So I'd like to share that with you. I'm gonna take maybe a screenshot of the business card and post it somehow. But yeah,
Yeah, we're in touch with them with our
good.
cannabis task force. Thank you very much for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you. And in the absence of anything else, we just need a motion to adjourn.
Did you old business?
Yes.
You did old business?
Is there a motion to adjourn?
There is.
There is. Unless you want to stay here. It has been, so who moved and who seconded? So we're clear.
And she did.
Okay. Walter and Tina. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Save the chat if anybody wants to do that. Freddie, thank you for coming.
My door was a 3 hour.
John.
I know, it is. It's supposed to be so funny.
Freddie. No, be still there.
Just need some tape.
He's on there.
Yeah, that's wrong. I was surprised. But next Friday, I think he might be gone.
Please keep it. All right, good night, everybody.
Take care.
We didn't even know it.